everybody? Welcome to the Clean Comedy Podcast. It's James, and today I have a great guest for you guys. Now, if you know anything about me, I love to meet new people, and this person was recommended to me by someone that I fully trust, Louis Morrow, he runs a bunch of stuff in Santa Barbara. He's friends with all the producers up there. He produces the Santa Barbara Laugh Fest. So when he said, reach out to this person, I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And I went and started doing research. And I was like, oh my gosh, we have so many things in common. Like, this is going to be great. And she's a producer, and she's an actress, and she does. I mean, we're going to go into it, but she's a regular at the Comedy Store. She's appeared on Comedy Central. She's done USO tours, which is you guys know, is one of my dreams. The Groundlings, the Improv. Like, she's an actor. She's done so much stuff. And now she's a big producer in Santa Barbara. She's still doing stand-up. But we're going to talk to her. Please welcome Carol Metcalf. Carol, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yay.
I know I always feel like I should have like an applause button or something, but I'm like, I don't ever do I don't ever do an audience or whatever. So it's really.
I understand. This is a really cool backdrop too.
Thank you. It's green screen, and then I have like a thing that goes that will put it on there, so I could use it for a bunch of stuff. I get to use it for I do sometimes humorous videos for people or commercials or whatever and stuff. So,
Right.
So you have been a comedian for a little while, I would say, right?
Yes. I told you how old. I think I'm 108 in Hollywood years, which
yeah.
Anyway.
And you grew up in an Air Force family, and it looks like that you do something at Fort Sam Houston. I grew up outside. I think they renamed it, but it was Fort Hood, which is the largest Army base in Texas. But I believe it's been renamed, and I don't know the new name. And so that's where my childhood was of growing up on the largest Army base. Most of my family was in the military. I joined the Navy when I was 18, and I have always wanted to do a USO tour because I remember getting out of boot camp, and before I got to fly to San Diego in Chicago, they let us stay in like the little USO, place in the airport for a little while. We played it was the first time I'd seen video games in a few months, and I was like, oh, do I remember how to play these? And it was just a weird time. So,
Wow. Well, can I salute you for your service to begin with?
Thank you. I always, when people say, thank you for your service, I always say, well, thank you for letting me waste your tax dollars, because that's what happens most of the time. Yeah. Now, let's just give us kind of your backstory, how you got into comedy. We want to get to know you and hear your story.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you for introducing the fact that, yes, I did grow up on military bases. And my dad was a chief master sergeant in the United States Air Force.
Oh.
And his name was Guy Metcalf Jr. And this is true. He helped break the sound barrier with Chuck Yeager.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, he did. And he also would be on going on secret duty, and we'd always say, where are you going, Dad? And he'd say, well, I just tell you, I'll be home in about 6 weeks. Love you. And they'd fly off.
Wow.
Let's see, what can I say? I grew up on Air Force bases, Newfoundland, Canada. We were living there. I got a Canadian accent, so I'm out and about. My name's Carol. We had to move from there all the way down to Texas. So then that was in junior high. You talk real funny. We don't know what you're talking about. So we'd be talking like this, and I'd say, well, I'm out here and having lunch, so don't talk to me right now. So that kind of was the platform for me to be an actress and a comedian.
Right.
Because
when did you decide that you wanted to do comedy? Like, what was the moment where you were like, oh, I should try to go do stand-up, or I wanted to do improv or something like that?
That was when I was, I got through my teens, and By the way, I had to get it. Yeah, I got a GED when I was 16 because I went in school. So anyway, and always been tall, thin, and blonde. I really am blonde before things happened and I got older. But yeah, that was my nickname, a blonde flagpole. So we were in San Antonio, Texas, and they had a free comedy night. And guess who showed up? I did. And I talked to the host, and her name is Marva Jean. So how southern is that? So, oh,
Very.
yeah. So I just started going to town about being teased all through school. I started talking about different people that I admired in the day. And one of them was Jerry Lewis. And so I do Jerry Lewis and I do all these impressions. I would just go to town with it. And I did also singing because my granny would take us to the Pentecostal church. And so we'd get in there, what's your name, little girl? It was all black. And I remember my first time that I went to the church and they were singing. It also introduced me to singing. And I've done over 20 musicals in my life. And
Wow.
all the black girls would get up and go, Jesus, oh, Jesus, do you know him today? Hallelujah. And then they start speaking in tongues. Shakamasabakatiya. Thank you, Jesus. And that inspired me to be a singer and an actress and a comic.
Wow.
So when I would be made fun of in school, I'd just go into different characters. And when I was a regular at the Comedy Store and I met Mitzi Shore, now I'm going to, hope you don't mind me just telling you my story.
No, this is great. Please, yes.
All right. So I went to the Comedy Store, and by then I was 28, and I'd already got I already got my BA. And then I thought, what the heck am I going to do? And my ex-husband and I was the only Armenian Texan I could find. We got varton each piece on highest. So I was always the, my husband now is Jewish and I'm the shiksa. Then I was, oh, hello. So that time likes you what? So it's always like, I came in and I met Mitzi. She says, Carol, do what you know. She was Jewish. So I had to audition for her twice before she accepted me. Because they said, all right, Carol, made them laugh. So you're weird. You're going to be doing all your characters. You're tall and blonde, but whatever, just do it. And I did.
Wow. I never got to meet Mitzi. That was like one thing I wish I would have got to do. I wish I would have started younger so I could have like met her or whatever.
Well, two of my role models that I met were Joan Rivers.
Wow.
Oh, can we talk? So I was talking with her. And so she came and she said, she gave me notes. And then Richard Pryor, I was born in a whorehouse, okay? So I'm just kind of throwing all this out there. Yeah, I'm a comedian. But I also am an actress, SAG after we've been waiting. Come on. Let's do this. And I also decided after living in Hollywood, and I was there for 18 years, I almost made it big 3 times. Third time, I got called back. This is a true story. And this was after 5 weeks. And I walked in, it was a new casting director, and he says, I'm sorry, but we're going to go for someone that's a little tinier and a redhead, and her name is Shara.
Oh my gosh.
So I went out to the car and I was just pissed off. I won't say what I said because this is a clean podcast.
Right.
With my ex-husband at the time. And then I was crying, and there was Phillips Graduate Institute. So we were driving by, and I had my BA and it had floated I've always wanted to help people. So he said, stop. I went in, talked to the guidance counselor, and she was a beautiful African American lady, and she was talking to me. And I said, I really want to start to get my master's. And she said, well, we're all booked up, honey. And I said, okay. She said, wait a minute. All right. Can you be here in 2 weeks?
Wow.
Start grad school.
And what's your master's in?
My master's, the PhD in,
Oh, wow.
not PhD, it's a master's degree in family therapy. Then I expanded that later on, individual and family. But then I went back and I got a license to work with military.
Wow.
True story, I was embedded at Vandenberg Air Force Base for 6 months.
Wow.
And I did that. That was in 2018. So I heard everybody's stories. I made friends. They're kind of my comedy shows. Um, I'll just say, Captain Stephanie, hi.
Now, so working with the military, did that lead you be able to do USO stuff, or were you doing USO stuff prior to that?
Well, no, I was doing prior to that in
Okay.
LA.
Okay. And
I
how do you get into that? Because like as a veteran, there's I
Yeah,
would love to give back to other veterans. I would love to give back to the military. I
sure,
so
sure. Well, that's when I was still, was living in show business
right.
in LA, and they were doing, um, all these shows for, veterans uh, in town, and back then, and that was back in the um, late '80s and early '90s, and these were soldiers that I call it the forgotten war. Vietnam.
Yep. Yep. That's tough. I have my dad's father, my opa. He was in
Mhm.
Vietnam and stuff. So that's why he didn't want me to go in the army. Actually, he was like, you're not allowed to go in the army." So he made me go.
But you know what? People are, well, going around the world. You know who really inspired me as a little girl?
Who?
Bob Hope.
Yeah.
Watching him hey, now we're going to, like he was golfing. And he'd be literally flying to Vietnam. Also, I have veterans that were Afghanistan when I was up at Vandenberg. And one thing they always say, why can't we just get along? Why do we have to be sent to wars that are not really backed?
Yep.
Um, and so some of the funniest people in the world, ironically, are veterans.
Yeah, we got it. We have to make ourselves laugh, otherwise it could be a long, dark days. I did
Exactly.
two tours to the Persian Gulf. You're away from friends and family and the rest of the world for 6+ months sometimes, and if you don't have a
Yeah,
sense of humor and you can't make people laugh, and you guys can't laugh and get along, it's going to be a long time.
really, that's right. And when you're in dire situations, it's like that. You're fight or flight, and then while you're sitting there waiting, your hippocampus starts pushing happy memories to the front, and then you're sitting and you're talking with your fellow military personnel. Then you just start reframing ironic. Yeah. And it's like, wow, I thought we had porridge 3 days. Why are we having porridge? We're getting ready to go out. Just stupid things like that. The food you're eating, or if you find out that, like the sergeant's coming in, says, wow, he's from, I can't ever understand. Oh, It's talking too fast. Does anybody, do you want to say no? No, I don't want to lose this. All right. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. We used to that's how I did I could do some impressions. Now I'm not good at it, not like you, but I would
Mhm.
make fun of whoever our boss was to other people and
Oh
stuff.
wow. Cool.
And so it got me in trouble sometimes, but I was also like I was likable, so it wasn't like I was being
Yes.
malicious. I was just doing whatever version of them that I knew we do.
Right.
And I do that for almost probably every boss I've ever had in my entire life. I do just because it's my way of coping with stress of somebody being in charge of me, which I don't like. And so then
Right.
I just pretend to be that person so that I can do a exaggerated, silly, non-threatening version of them that's, makes people. And then your coworkers love it, but they're not going to do it, and they're going to just laugh and go, "Well, hope they don't hear you doing it." Like, okay. So
Right. No, it's like uh I don't know if I haven't mentioned this, but I had to sell my getting my master's. I had to sell it to the proctors at Phillips Graduate Institute because at first they said, one of them said that I'm sorry that's we don't know if that would really cover learning different therapeutic methods to help people. So I invited them, and this is a true story, to Comedy Store, and they had a veteran there, and I'll just say his name is Eddie because he's gone now. But anyway, I remember he would always start the shows when I was there, where he'd run up the stage and say, "Oh God, I'm so sorry. You ever think, what did I forget?" And he'd look, he'd lost an arm, and then he's, "Okay, now I got your attention." And then you go on from there. So humor is healing.
yeah, exactly. Now, how did you get to start producing shows in Santa Barbara? Because that's kind of big. The Santa Barbara Laugh Fest is coming up in November, and all the
Right.
producers there have all their shows that they run throughout the year. But then this is like a big combination of getting like everybody to know what's going on. Because I think there was something that came out recently was like Santa Barbara is like one of the top growing comedy scenes in not only just like in California but around the world right now.
Yes. Well, when I first came out to Santa Barbara, um, I started walking up and down the street because I was lonely and I wanted to laugh with people. Uh, and I hired a community action commission, which brought me out. And I'm not trying to take complete, I'm not saying I started people laughing in Santa Barbara, but I am saying that when I came out here in 2005, I thought, well, where's the comedy show? So I went in and I talked to the owner of a place called Max's, and she was very nice. And so she let me bring some of my fellow comics in from LA because I was still doing comedy, even though, I changed my entire life. I called them on the phone. So started club there. Then I did Bill and Wine Bar for a long time. And then I had people that were students of mine, ironically, because I was still teaching too. And they started uh, saying, hey, we should have more places. Then I'll give credit to people like John Palmentary that he was cool. He even did a show. He wanted to do Carol, I'd like to do some stand up. So he did a show. So it grew. I think that. Oh, and I used to teach comedy. I
Wow,
left that out. I have them come over to my place, and they'll back me up on this. Um, how to voice comedy and see the ironic in different situations, and then they would go up in my place and do like a mock stand up.
that's
And I
super
told
cool.
them, so it's kind of cool. So some of my folks, and I don't think she would mind me saying Samantha Bierman's doing a lot of stand-up shows in town. Well,
I love Sam. She's amazing. She's like, yeah,
yes, she is. I love her too. She's like a daughter,
yeah,
and she took my comedy classes and gives me credit for that.
yeah. She's amazing. I've done quite a few of her shows. She is
Yeah,
just a wonderful, amazing person. So that's awesome. It's good to know that that you helped grow a community that now it keeps
right.
growing and giving back and getting bigger. And and I hear the other comedians, because I go to LA, I go to Santa Barbara
Yes,
or whatever, and I hear comedians go, "Oh, do you know what's going on in Santa Barbara?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude. Like it's great up there. You should, if you
yeah,
can get booked, go up there. Like there, it's a great scene. People are supportive. It's there's cool
right.
venues. It's a fun time, and
Yeah,
I love going up there. I started going up there with my wife because she likes to go to Chocolate Maya, which is like a chocolate place in
yes, been there. Hmm.
it's really good and expensive chocolate, but it's so we started going up there, and then we would go every couple months or every month or whatever, and we just were up there last week actually getting chocolate, and but it's one of those things where I was like, I wonder if there's comedy up here. And I just started looking
Yeah,
around, doing the same thing, and
right.
ran into Sam and Louis,
Yeah,
and I was just like kept going. And just like go, go, go. And it's like, all right, here you
yeah,
go. We're in it now. And now
yeah.
it's one of my favorite places. When anyone says, "Hey, do you want to come to Santa Barbara and do stand?" I'm like, yes, 100%. I love it up there. It's beautiful. It's easier than driving into LA. Let's be honest.
I know. I love that. Geek, geek. It is.
It
Um,
it might take me an hour to get to Santa Barbara,
Right,
but Santa Barbara's quite a ways away. But it could take me an hour and a half to get into LA, and it's only
right.
31 miles or something. It's like, come on, man. Like, no. So,
Absolutely. No, that's how it really started. Is that I'm going to take some credit on it, but also it already started, and there were some different places that were starting to bring it in, and you know, uh, I just started calling my friends to come up that I'd worked with, the Comedy Store, um, and also the Improv.
okay.
So yeah, and I've just always have made fun of my life and shared it. And people always come up and says, "Did you really grow up in Air Force Base? Did that really happen to you? Were you really around anorexic when you were in your early teens?" But the good news about it, you got the model. So, so it's not what happens to you. Like I'm a broken record. It's how you go forward and how you glean something that made you stronger.
I like that. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah. Because, I go into my nerd head as a therapist. The more you can refrain of that, and the more you can refrain that. Because I love Jerry Lewis when he always put the glasses on. If you could reframe it, see the humor in it, and some of the funniest people on the planet, like I've always said, military veterans.
Yeah. See, I grew up. My grandma always saying, like, if something's bad, find the humor in it, and you can get through it, right? So if something
Yes.
terrible is going on, if you can find that funny thing, the silver lining, the thing that makes you laugh, you'll be able to get through even the worst things. So I use that my whole life in
Yes.
moments of stress and fear and anxiety or whatever, and
Yeah.
that's how was my coping mechanism, make people laugh. But some people get mad at that. Like that was my coping
Yeah.
mechanism, was to do something funny or say something funny in maybe a very stressful or intense situation.
Yeah.
People are like, "You're just gonna, what are you being flippant about this? Like it's funny to you?" I'm like, "No, this is how I deal with it
I've
to
had that
get through
happen
it."
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. Yeah. No,
Yes.
well, and also I'm going to say this. I'm half Irish, so my Irish granny was my, and we would go down. One time we drove from Newfoundland, Canada, all the way down to San Antonio, Texas.
Wow.
And I really just love my granny. I love my granny. She's no longer with us, but she made me laugh. She would listen to the old radio. She'd have the hearing aid, she was right up the radio. We'll get there before I do. Tell my Lord I'm a coming there too. Stack a and then she could speak in tongue, false teeth. And she always stated, she said, you know what, little darling, you know you're old when you and your teeth no longer sleep together. That kind of stuff I can't make up. It
Yeah,
really was said to me.
that's so good. I know I'm gonna see my grandma this week. Actually, she flies in from Texas, so I'm very excited. So
Are you sure we're not related someday?
we might. I'm actually part Irish too. It's
Yes,
Gallagher on my grandfather's side is.
that's
So
right. That's right. Okay.
we might be related.
Well, I did the spit test too with my sisters. How we all came back Nordic. So what happened is and my other sister, she looks like my twin, but we're 5 years apart. And then the middle sister's a redhead, Cindy. So it's Cindy, Sue, Carol Ann, and Sandra Kay. So my mother's Southern. But they said, oh yeah, it's Nordic. The Vikings came and raped and pillaged coming down.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
through Ireland, and then the other half, of course, is British when they not Metcalf darling.
Yeah.
So and when I've done London, I've done it twice. They love me. They
Wow.
come up and say, darling, why do you look? Because you're so cheeky. We love it.
That sounds awesome. Now, for do you have anything that you have coming up that you want to promote for the Laugh Fest? Is there anything that you are pushing? Are you still teaching comedy? Like, could people reach out to you for coaching or whatever?
Yes, I started doing it again because people have been reaching out. In fact, I have a student coming up in next week after I get back from my birthday trip to San Francisco. Yay.
Hey, have fun. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
21st, finally, you're finally legal.
Thank you. Oh, and speaking of that,
Oh, wow.
I'm happily married. I thought I'd throw this in and just all the girls out there are single. Don't give up. True story. I met my Jewish rocket scientist husband on a free dating service called Plenty of Fish.
Wow.
So that was 13 years ago,
Wow. Congratulations. That's amazing.
and we've been married. Well, 12.5 years ago. We've been married 10.
That's awesome. So how would people get in touch with you for booking if they wanted to like reach out to you? They could possibly get on your shows. How do they reach out to you for coaching, that kind of stuff? What would
Sure.
be the best way to reach you?
Here's what I'll give you my email. I don't care. Carol Metcalf at yahoo.com, or I'll get my phone number out.
Oh, wow. That I think
So,
Carol's the first person that's ever offered to give out their phone number on the podcast. But don't give out your phone number. We'll put a link. We'll put a link to your website
we'll
in the
just
show
do
notes.
that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
She's like, I'll
My
give out my phone
time
number.
only. I need people.
The problem is comedians will text you at like 2 a.m. Like, can I get on your
I
show?
know.
Like, and you're like, oh gosh, no.
I know.
I love that you're willing
Well,
to do that though.
I want you on my show. You're hysterical.
Thank you, thank you. I try. I have my friend right now, so I'm working on my set because I want to do a dry bar special and stuff. But my buddy was like, he's like, I want you to try something for like the next 2 months of like every time you do my shows, you don't bring a set list. You just go on stage and talk about whatever. And so I've done that for the last 3 weeks, and it was the first week was terrifying because he didn't tell me before I went. He just took my set list from my hand as I was going on stage and said, "Go, just
Yeah.
go and find the punchline." So that first one was a little scary. The second time, I was like, "This is great." The third time, which was yesterday, I was like, "Let's do this, man! Like, let's go!" And I just went in the pocket, and it was just like comfortable. Did.
Wow.
I'm not usually comfortable with crowd work. I did a little crowd
Yeah.
work, so it was like all these little pieces that I've kind of neglected. Where I was like, I'm just going to focus on writing my jokes, getting my set, doing this.
Right.
He was like, no, you have to branch out, so
Yeah.
it was fun.
Yeah. Well, and JD, it's wonderful to be improvisational and in the moment, and that's the way I am in life.
Yeah. I need to say yes and more often.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of my life going no, 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 or I don't want to do that, but yes and is definitely a
Can I
fun one.
introduce you to my wonderful rocket scientist?
JD,
How you doing, sir?
I'm
Great to meet you.
fantastic. I'm headed out to work now.
An actual rocket scientist?
You better believe it. Yes.
That's amazing. Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can't tell us where you work at, but I appreciate all that you do. When I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut, but then the Challenger exploded, and I was like, I'm done. I'm not going to do that. So.
You're done. Yes. Carol will tell you everything you need to know about rocket scientists. Ciao.
Nice to meet you. That was awesome. That was so good.
Did just about anything.
That to me, that is very smart. I love that. And some of the most intelligent people are funny people. I'm finding that the more that I get to know and interview more comedians and talk to more comedians, they are this high level intelligence where like people have off put comedy as like a dumb man's thing. Where like, oh, it's just drama. If you're smart, drama is the way that you're like, but it's not. You know,
not.
So.
Nope.
I appreciate your time, Carol. I appreciate you being there. I'll put all of Carol's show note, all her information in the show notes so you guys can have it.
Yeah.
What's your Instagram? You can shout that out so people can follow you on Instagram too.
Well, it's under Carol Metcalf.
Okay. I'll put that on the show notes too.
Put that on the show notes, but what a delight to talk to you.
I appreciate
JD, I appreciate that. And some of the most wonderful people I have ever met.
Thank you.
Our veterans.
Thank you. Yes, they're my favorite. That's why I want to do USO. I want to do more stuff. I want to go work with veterans and do comedy for them. And you guys, if you want to check out, don't forget to check out the Santa Barbara Laugh Fest. Go check out some of Carol's shows in Santa Barbara. So if you're in Southern California, go check out. There are some of the best shows in Southern California are happening in Santa Barbara. I'm not kidding you when I say that. I absolutely love it. November 3rd. There you go. Well, I'll put the link to the SB Laugh Fest site so you guys can go check out all the shows. There's so many shows going on. November 1st through 4th, I believe, is the dates. And there's so many shows going on. You are going to find a show for any type of comedy that you like. And it's going to be so much fun. Thank you, Carol. If you guys haven't, subscribe, go find it. Go follow on YouTube. We're so grateful for every single one of you that are listening. Have a good one, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.